When a strict hospital manager known for her no-nonsense approach encounters a casually dressed man wearing a controversial hat, she doesn't hesitate to enforce her authority. Little does she know, the man she's confronting holds the power to change her life and the hospital's future. Forever. What happens when a leader is forced to face her deepest flaws while under the watchful eye of an unexpected mentor? The story ahead will surprise you, challenge your expectations, and leave you reflecting on the true meaning of leadership and change. Thank you for following this journey. If you love heartwarming, transformative stories like this one, don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more inspiring tales that will keep you captivated. On a busy Monday morning at Cedarwood Hospital, the atmosphere buzzed with the familiar urgency and orderliness of the place. Nurses hurried between patient rooms, doctors exchanged curt instructions, and the waiting room was filled with tense whispers. Amid the bustling crowd, Lily, the hospital administrator, strode down the hallways with a resolute air. In her early 40s, Lily was well known for her stern demeanor and commanding presence. Her tailored suit and ever-present clipboard had become her trademark, much like her perpetual no-nonsense expression. She had built a reputation for keeping everything under control, though many whispered she was more of a tyrant than a leader. Lily's meticulously planned day took an unexpected turn when she noticed a man entering the hospital's main doors. He wore a red cap, a simple gray t-shirt, and jeans, a casual look that stood out among the uniformed staff and neatly dressed patients. The man was none other than Elon Musk, though his unassuming appearance left most people oblivious to his identity. From a distance, Lily's gaze locked onto the man, her heartbeat quickening with each passing second. Her grip on the clipboard tightened and her steps became brisker, the sharp clack of her heels echoing through the hall. She approached the man standing at the reception desk, her eyebrows furrowed and her eyes narrowing as they landed on the red cap with its emblazoned lettering, a sight that she despised. To Lily, the cap was not merely an accessory but a symbol of disruption, something she was determined to prevent in her hospital. "Excuse me," Lily began, her tone as sharp as a scalpel. "What is your business here?" Elon Musk offered a calm smile, his gaze steady. "I have my reasons, but I don't wish to cause a scene. I just need to look around." Lily's eyes narrowed further, her suspicion evident. "Look around?" she repeated, enunciating each word with deliberate force. "This is a hospital, not a sightseeing venue, and that cap you're wearing is making people uncomfortable." Elon glanced around, noticing a few curious glances but no signs of discomfort, as Lily claimed. His voice remained composed as he replied, "I mean no harm. I assure you, I won't get in anyone's way." Lily refused to relent. Her fingers gripped the clipboard so tightly that her knuckles turned white. "Listen," she said, her voice rising just enough to draw the attention of those nearby. "I don't know who you think you are, but you need to leave immediately." Elon's expression remained tranquil, his voice unwavering. "I didn't come here to cause trouble, but if you insist, I'll leave. Just remember, appearances can be deceiving." Lily crossed her arms, her lips curling into a faint, mocking smile. "I'll take my chances," she replied. "Security will escort you out." With a polite nod, Elon turned and walked away, two security guards summoned by Lily trailing close behind. Lily watched him leave, her eyes gleaming with satisfaction. Yet deep down, her heart pounded as though she sensed an impending storm. The next morning began like any other for Lily. The rhythmic sound of her heels striking the floor accompanied her as she moved through the corridors, clipboard in hand, tackling her packed to-do list. While she was directing a nurse about a misplaced report, the hushed murmurs at the reception desk caught her attention. Lily turned her head, her jaw tightening as she approached. Her pulse quickened as she saw him again. The man from the day before. The red cap, the gray t-shirt, the composed demeanor. It was all the same. Drawing a deep breath, Lily marched forward, her heels striking harder against the floor. "You're here again?" she demanded, her voice cutting through the buzz of the crowd. The murmurs ceased instantly, leaving Elon standing alone, his expression unreadable. Lily crossed her arms, her face a mask of cold determination. "I thought we made it clear yesterday that you're not welcome here. I won't let you disrupt this hospital." Elon smiled faintly, his voice steady as ever. I didn't come here to disrupt anything. I have work to do. Lily raised an eyebrow. Work? What kind of work could you possibly have here? If you're not a patient, a visitor, or staff, you have no business being here. Elon tilted his head slightly, as though deliberating how much to reveal. I'm not here to waste anyone's time, but I do have a right to be here. Elon Musk's unshakable calm only fueled Lily's frustration. Her fists clenched at her sides as every muscle in her body tensed. Listen here, she said, taking a deliberate step closer, her tone unyielding. If you don't leave right now, I'll have security escort you out. Elon Musk maintained his faint smile, saying nothing more. The staff around them began murmuring, some recognizing him and exchanging worried glances. Yet, no one dared to speak up. The tension hung thick in the air as Elon sighed lightly, his voice steady but firm. It seems you're determined to make me leave, but let me ask you this. Are you certain you're making the right decision? Lily let out a scornful laugh, her cheeks flushed with anger as heat crept up her neck. I'm absolutely certain, she snapped. Now leave, or I'll make sure you regret staying any longer. Elon nodded slowly, as if accepting her verdict, though his composed expression remained unchanged. Very well, he said. But remember this. You judged me without knowing who I am or why I'm here. Sometimes appearances can be deceiving. Lily waved him off dismissively, her shoulders rising slightly as if to shake off her irritation. She called for security, who approached reluctantly, clearly uncomfortable with the unfolding scene. Elon Musk didn't resist. He allowed them to escort him out. Lily stood tall, watching him disappear through the doors, her head held high with an air of triumph. The room fell silent. A young nurse whispered to a colleague, "That was him." Lily caught the faint murmurs, but ignored them, dismissing it as idle gossip. She was far too satisfied with her handling of the situation to care. To her, the matter was resolved, until the next day brought a revelation she couldn't have foreseen. The following morning, Lily began her day brimming with confidence, convinced that the red-capped troublemaker was a thing of the past. She stood at the reception desk, her sharp gaze scanning the day's agenda like a hawk, ready to keep everything under control. But the calm didn't last long. Close to noon, a sleek black SUV pulled up to the hospital's front entrance. Its polished exterior gleamed under the sunlight, drawing curious stares from passers-by. A driver in a tailored suit stepped out and opened the door for the passenger. Elon Musk emerged, still wearing the infamous red cap, but now paired with a sharply tailored blazer. His steps were measured, exuding quiet confidence as he walked toward the entrance. Lily spotted him instantly. Her jaw tightened, and her fingers gripped her clipboard so hard her knuckles turned white. "He's back," she muttered, feeling a wave of heat rise as her anger reignited. She strode toward the entrance, her heels striking the floor with heavy, deliberate clacks. Elon Musk stepped inside, his calm gaze sweeping across the hospital as if nothing was out of the ordinary. Lily blocked his path, her breath slightly heavier than usual. "You again?" she said loudly, her voice cutting through the noise and drawing the attention of onlookers. "What will it take to keep you from coming back? Do I need to file a restraining order?" The hallway fell silent as tension rippled through the crowd. Whispers spread among the staff, some of whom recognized Elon but were too stunned to speak. Oblivious to the murmurs, Lily pressed on. "This is a professional establishment, not a place for political stunts," she snapped, her words as sharp as a blade. "Your cap and your presence are not welcome here." Elon raised an eyebrow slightly, his expression as composed as ever. "I'm sorry if my presence has upset you," he replied, his voice calm and measured. "But I have every right to be here." Lily let out a mocking laugh, her voice echoing through the hallway. "Oh, really? And what right do you have? You don't work here, you're not a patient, you're just a trespasser." She turned to the security guards, pointing sharply in Elon's direction. "Remove him from my hospital. And this time, make sure he doesn't come back." The guards approached hesitantly, their discomfort evident. One of them paused before speaking, his voice cautious. "Ma'am, I think there's been a misunderstanding." Lily cut him off, her gaze sharp as a razor. "There's no misunderstanding. Do your job!" The security guards reluctantly moved closer to Elon. He didn't resist, offering only a faint smile. As they escorted him out, he turned back to Lily and spoke in his calm, measured tone. "You're very determined. I'll remember that." Lily scoffed, dismissing him with a wave of her hand before turning back to face the staff and patients who had been watching. Some appeared shocked, others disapproving, but she didn't care. "Get back to work!" she barked, her tone cutting through the room like a whip, as if nothing out of the ordinary had happened. Outside, Elon Musk stepped into the sleek SUV, waiting for him. His expression remained calm, but a flicker of resolve glinted in his eyes. "This isn't over," he thought as the car drove away. Inside the hospital, Lily remained oblivious to the storm brewing on the horizon. Her smug confidence would soon meet a harsh reality she couldn't have anticipated. The next morning, Lily arrived at the hospital feeling invincible. The events of the past 2 days had only reinforced her belief that she was maintaining order in her hospital. But as she stepped into her office, a strange unease began to creep in. The hallways buzzed with whispers. Staff clustered in small groups, exchanging nervous glances, and conversations seemed to abruptly stop whenever she passed by. Narrowing her eyes, Lily felt her throat tighten, but she dismissed it as nothing more than idle gossip. She grabbed her coffee, leaned back in her chair, and opened her planner for the day. But before she could even start reviewing the agenda, the phone on her desk rang. "Lily speaking," she answered briskly. The receptionist's voice trembled on the other end. "Ma'am, there's someone here to see you." Lily frowned, her grip on the phone tightening. "Who?" "It's Mr. Musk, the man you had escorted out yesterday. He's in the boardroom." Lily's knuckles whitened as her fingers clenched around the receiver. "What? How did he—" "Never mind. I'll handle it." She slammed the phone down, the force causing it to rattle on her desk. "That man doesn't know when to quit," she muttered under her breath as she stormed out of her office. Her heels clicked sharply against the tiled floor, each step brimming with determination. Her lips pressed into a thin line, and her icy stare was locked on the boardroom door. As she neared the room, something felt off. The space, usually reserved for high-level meetings, had been rearranged. Inside, several members of the hospital's board sat with tense and uneasy expressions. At the head of the table stood Elon Musk. The infamous red cap was gone, replaced by an air of unshakable confidence. Beside him stood Mr. Andrews, the hospital's chief financial officer, who couldn't bring himself to meet Lily's eyes as she entered. Lily straightened her posture, taking a deep breath to steady the tightness in her chest. "Would someone care to explain what's going on here?" she demanded, her voice laced with steel as her eyes darted between the attendees. "And why he is here again?" James Carter, the hospital board's chairman, cleared his throat, his hands trembling slightly as they rested on the table. "Please, Ms. Lily, have a seat." "I'll stand." "Thank you." She cut him off, her tone razor sharp. Turning her attention to Elon, she fixed him with a piercing glare. "Why are you here? I thought I made it clear you're not welcome." Elon glanced at Andrews, who gave a reluctant nod. Then he spoke, his tone calm but commanding. "Ms. Lily, I believe it's time to clear up a significant misunderstanding." Lily crossed her arms over her chest, her lips pressed so tightly together they blanched. "Oh, really? And what misunderstanding would that be?" Elon took a step forward, his gaze meeting hers directly, his voice low yet resolute. "Ms. Lily, I am not some random troublemaker. I'm here because, as of last week, I became the largest shareholder of Cedarwood Hospital. To put it simply, I'm your boss." The room plunged into a deafening silence. The confident facade Lily had worn so well crumbled in an instant. Her eyes widened, her mouth opened slightly as if to speak, but no words came out. Her fingers gripped the edge of the table, the cold surface a stark contrast to the heat coursing through her body. A chill ran down her spine as reality sank in. Lily turned to Mr. Andrews, her eyes filled with a fragile hope that this was all some sort of joke. But James Carter nodded gravely, confirming Elon Musk's words. "No, that's impossible," Lily stammered, her voice trembling. Why would someone like you do this?" Elon Musk's steady gaze remained fixed on her, his voice calm yet weighted with authority that made Lily feel a tightness in her throat. "Because I believe in improving organizations like this one," he replied. "And frankly, Cedarwood Hospital needs some changes, starting with how it treats people, employees, patients, and visitors alike." Lily's cheeks flushed red as she felt the eyes of everyone in the room boring into her. Her hands trembled slightly as she struggled to maintain her composure. I didn't realize," she stuttered. "That much is clear," Elon Musk said, his tone sharp but never losing its composure. "But ignorance doesn't excuse your behavior. You've made some very poor judgments over the past few days. Now it's time to correct them." Lily's heart pounded like a drum as his words sank in. For the first time, she realized she might have made a grievous error, and this was only the beginning of her reckoning. The next morning, tension hung heavy in the air at the hospital. News of Elon Musk's acquisition as Cedarwood Hospital's largest shareholder had spread like wildfire. Staff were abuzz with speculation, some excited, others anxious about what the future might hold. But no one felt more unsettled than Lily. Sitting in her office, she absent-mindedly tapped a pen against her desk. Dark circles under her eyes betrayed the restless night she'd had following the humiliating meeting. Elon Musk's words replayed in her mind. "You've made poor judgments. Now it's time to correct them." As she tried to focus on her work schedule, a soft knock at the door startled her. "Come in," she said, her voice dry and brittle. The door opened, and her breath caught in her throat. Standing in the doorway was Elon Musk. His posture exuded confidence, and he was dressed impeccably in a tailored suit. The infamous red cap was gone, replaced with a faint, knowing smile on his face. "Good morning, Ms. Lily," Elon said, stepping into the office without waiting for an invitation. Lily shot up from her chair, gripping the edge of her desk tightly. Her voice wavered, though she tried to sound composed. "Mr. Musk, I didn't expect to see you here." "I think it's time we had a proper conversation," Elon replied, closing the door behind him. "After all, our introduction didn't exactly go smoothly." He fixed his gaze on Lily, his eyes piercing, as if reading her every thought. "If I hadn't been wearing that hat, would you have treated me differently?" Lily broke eye contact, her gaze shifting to the side. She didn't answer. "I thought so," Elon said after a pause, leaning back slightly in his chair. "You judged me hastily because of what I wore. In doing so, you disrespected not just me, but the core values this hospital should stand for: fairness, professionalism, and compassion." Lily nodded quickly, desperate to defuse the situation. Her hands gripped the edge of the desk as if it were her lifeline. "You're absolutely right, Mr. Musk. It won't happen again." Elon studied her for a moment, his expression unyielding. Then, to her surprise, he smiled, a small but genuine smile that caught her off guard. "I hope not, Ms. Lily, because I believe in accountability, but I also believe in second chances." Lily blinked, unsure if she'd heard him correctly. "Second chances?" "Yes," Elon said, rising from his seat. "I'm not here to punish you, Ms. Lily. I'm here to improve this hospital, including the people who run it. But you'll need to prove that you can lead with the integrity and respect this institution deserves." Lily exhaled a long, shaky breath, feeling some of the tension ease from her chest. Her shoulders relaxed, and the heat on her face began to fade. "I won't let you down, Mr. Musk, I promise." Elon Musk nodded, though his eyes remained serious. "Good. But promises are meaningless without action. I'll be watching closely." Before Lily could respond, Elon walked to the door, pausing for a moment before leaving. "Oh, and Ms. Lily," he said, turning to look at her, his eyes carrying a faint hint of amusement. "The next time I visit, let's make sure we meet under better circumstances." With a slight smile, He stepped out, leaving Lily standing in her office, her hands still gripping the edge of her desk. Her eyes followed his figure as it disappeared through the glass door, and for the first time she felt a spark of determination rising within her. As Elon Musk walked down the hallway, staff members quickly stepped aside, their expressions a mix of awe and respect. He stopped to speak with a nurse, asking about patient care and the challenges the hospital faced. The staff, surprised by his genuine concern and humble demeanor, began to feel a sense of hope for the changes he might bring. Lily watched through her office window, realizing that Elon Musk was no ordinary CEO. If she wanted to keep her position, she would have to adapt quickly and prove herself. The next morning, the atmosphere in the hospital was different. Elon Musk's words still echoed in Lily's mind. Promises are meaningless without action. Lily knew she needed to change. She began reflecting on her leadership style, remembering how she had prided herself on maintaining order, but had often overlooked empathy and understanding. Her first challenge arrived sooner than she expected. Elon Musk had scheduled a meeting with department heads to discuss the hospital's future. Lily understood this was no ordinary meeting. It was an opportunity to demonstrate that she could change. She spent hours preparing, reviewing financial reports, patient surveys, and employee evaluations. Yet deep down, she knew data alone wouldn't impress Elon. He wanted to see the human side of her leadership. The meeting took place in the hospital's largest conference room. Elon Musk sat at the head of the table, exuding a quiet strength that commanded the room's attention. Department heads filed in, their anxious expressions betraying their uncertainty about what to expect. Lily took her seat, clutching her stack of documents tightly, her fingers leaving faint creases on the edges of the papers. "Thank you all for coming," Elon began, his voice steady and authoritative. "Before we dive into the details, I want to make one thing clear. The success of this hospital depends on how we work together. Leadership isn't about giving orders. It's about serving others and creating an environment where everyone can thrive." Lily shifted in her chair, feeling as though every word he spoke was directed squarely at her. "Now," Elon continued, "let's start with a simple question. What is the greatest challenge this hospital faces?" The room fell silent. No one wanted to speak, fearing they might say the wrong thing. Finally, a young nurse manager raised her hand, her voice trembling slightly as she spoke. "I think morale is a big issue. Many staff members feel overworked and undervalued." Elon nodded, his expression filled with understanding. "Thank you for your honesty. What do you think could improve morale?" The nurse manager glanced nervously at Lily before looking back at Elon. "Well, better communication from leadership might help. Sometimes we feel like our concerns aren't being heard." Lily's cheeks burned with embarrassment. She could feel the weight of everyone's gaze on her, and she knew the nurse's comment was a direct critique of her management style. Elon turned to Lily, his voice calm but firm. "Ms. Lily, as the hospital administrator, what are your thoughts on this?" Lily took a deep breath, deciding it was time to confront her shortcomings head-on. "I think she's right," Lily admitted, her voice measured but sincere. "I've been so focused on maintaining efficiency that I've neglected to listen to my team. That's something I need to work on." The room's tension seemed to ease slightly, and a few people looked at Lily with surprise. Elon nodded in approval. "Recognizing the problem is the first step. Now let's discuss solutions." Throughout the meeting, Elon Musk guided the discussion with encouragement and attentive listening. Lily not only took notes on the plans, but also observed how Elon interacted with the team. He listened intently, acknowledged concerns, and provided constructive feedback. It was a lesson in true leadership, and for the first time in a long while, Lily felt inspired. As the meeting concluded, Elon approached her. "You did well today," he said. "Leadership isn't about perfection. It's about learning and growing. Remember that." Lily nodded, a small smile appearing on her lips. "Thank you, Mr. Musk. I'll do my best." "Good," Elon replied, turning to leave, "because this hospital needs real leaders." For the first time in years, Lily felt a warm sense of hope rise within her. She began to believe not only in the hospital's future, but also in her own potential to grow as a leader. In the weeks that followed, Lily transformed her leadership approach, drawing inspiration from Elon's example. Rather than remaining confined to her office, she decided to step out and engage directly with her staff. Each morning she toured the hospital, greeting nurses, doctors, janitors, and even kitchen staff. At first, her presence surprised everyone. They were used to seeing Lily only when something was wrong, but gradually her visits began to feel more genuine. One morning, while passing through the emergency department, Lily noticed a nurse struggling to help a patient move. Without hesitation, she stepped in, holding the IV pole steady and assisting the nurse in getting the patient into a wheelchair. The nurse looked up at her, wide-eyed with surprise. "Miss Lily?" she asked, her voice tinged with confusion. Lily smiled softly and said, "Just call me Lily, and let me know if you need anything." Moments like these slowly rebuilt the trust Lily had lost. Word spread quickly, and for the first time in years, the staff began to see her differently, not as a cold administrator, but as a true member of the team. Lily also introduced weekly meetings where employees could freely share their concerns and ideas. During one meeting, a janitor spoke up about a broken floor cleaning machine he had reported 3 times, with no response. His voice grew quieter as he added, "I've mentioned it 3 times, but no one seems to care." Lily immediately pulled out her phone and made a call. Within 24 hours, the machine was repaired. When the janitor came to thank her, his voice was filled with astonishment. "I didn't think anyone actually cared." Lily looked him in the eye, her expression sincere. "I care." She also turned her attention to patient care, organizing a meeting with patients and their families to hear about their experiences. During one session, a mother tearfully shared how a nurse had comforted her son during a difficult treatment. Lily made sure that nurse received special recognition at the next staff meeting, where the entire room erupted in applause. These positive changes didn't go unnoticed by Elon. During one of his visits, he spotted Lily working alongside a nurse in the pediatric ward. Later, he pulled her aside, his eyes filled with approval. "You're doing great," he said. Lily smiled, but her hands unconsciously clasped in front of her chest. "I still have a lot to fix," she replied, her voice trembling slightly. Elon chuckled softly, his tone warm and encouraging. "We all do. But the important thing is that you're showing up every day and proving you're willing to change. That's the kind of leadership this hospital needs." Lily's confidence grew as she realized the power of humility and action. She began tackling long-standing issues within the hospital, from streamlining schedules to reduce staff burnout, to launching a mentorship program for young nurses. One afternoon, during a meeting with department heads, Lily unveiled a bold new initiative, a scholarship fund for underprivileged students pursuing careers in healthcare. "We need to invest in the future of medicine," she said, her voice resolute. "This isn't just about running a hospital. It's about changing lives." The room erupted into applause, and Elon nodded in approval from his seat. As Lily left the meeting, she felt a tremendous weight lift from her shoulders. For the first time, she felt like a leader worthy of her team's respect. Later that day, as Lily walked through the hallway, a nurse stopped her and said, "You've changed, Lily. We're lucky to have you." Lily smiled, her eyes glistening with unshed tears. "No," she replied, her voice catching. "I'm the one who's lucky to have all of you." In that moment, Lily finally understood the true meaning of leadership, not through fear or authority, but through empathy, service, and the desire to uplift those around her. In the weeks that followed, the hospital's atmosphere grew lighter. Staff worked with renewed energy, and even patients noticed the positive changes. Lily's reforms, both big and small, began to ripple through every corner of the hospital. To celebrate the team's dedication and resilience, Elon Musk organized an appreciation event for the hospital staff. The cafeteria was transformed into a festive space, complete with delicious food, live music from a local band, and a warm, inviting atmosphere. During the event, Elon Musk took to the stage, dressed casually in a jacket and jeans, exuding both comfort and authority. "When I first walked into this hospital," he began, "I saw potential. I saw people dedicated to their patients and colleagues but trapped in a system that didn't support them. Change isn't easy, but this team has proven it's possible when we work together." Cheers erupted from the crowd, and Elon raised a hand to quiet them. "Tonight, I want to honor someone who embodies the values this hospital stands for: compassion, growth, and leadership. Ms. Lily, please join me on stage." Lily froze, her feet seemingly glued to the floor. The room exploded with applause, urging her forward. Her heart pounded so loudly she was sure everyone could hear it as she made her way to the stage. Elon smiled and handed her the microphone. "I don't know what to say," Lily began, her voice trembling slightly. "When Mr. Musk first came here, I thought he was just going to shake things up and leave. But he did so much more. He taught me the true meaning of leadership." She paused, her voice growing steadier. "While I still have a lot to learn, I want to thank each of you for giving me the chance to grow. This isn't just my hospital. It's our hospital." The crowd rose to their feet, applause thundering through the room. Lily's throat tightened, and tears streamed down her cheeks as she stepped back from the microphone, her shoulders trembling with emotion. Elon Musk placed a gentle hand on her shoulder and leaned in to whisper, "You've earned this." As the evening drew to a close, Lily stood beside Elon, her gaze sweeping over the staff, laughing and chatting with one another. The air was filled with positivity and camaraderie. She turned to him, a soft smile gracing her lips. "I never thought I'd say this, but thank you for everything." Elon chuckled, his shoulders shaking slightly. "Thank yourself, Lily. I just gave you the opportunity. The rest was all you." The next day marked a new chapter for the hospital. The walls that once echoed with tension and frustration now seemed to radiate energy, hope, and determination. Lily continued to lead with empathy, tirelessly working to ensure the hospital became a symbol of care and innovation. The story concluded with Lily visiting a young patient in the pediatric ward. She sat beside the boy's bed, picked up a book, and began reading to him in a warm, soothing voice. The boy looked at her with bright, curious eyes, and when the story ended, Lily smiled and promised, "Tomorrow I'll bring you your favorite snack, okay?" As she left the room, her steps felt lighter, as if the burdens she once carried had finally been lifted. For the first time in years, she truly understood the essence of leadership, not about control, but about service. And so, the hospital flourished under a renewed spirit, proving that while change may be challenging, it is always worth the effort. This story reminds us of the power of empathy, humility, and second chances. What would you do if you were in Lily's position? Have you ever had a moment where you realized it was time to change and grow? Share your thoughts in the comments. Your story could inspire others and spark positive change. If you found this story meaningful, don't hesitate to share it with your friends and loved ones to spread the message of compassion and leadership. Thank you for following along. Together, let's take small but impactful steps to create a better, kinder world. Stay inspired, and we look forward to seeing you in our next story.